Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. We are here with a press conference on election security. Let's dive right into it. I am Spin City. I am your host for this stream.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. President Trump is correct when he said that election security is national security. And one of the greatest privileges I have is being Secretary of the Department of Homeland. And part of that is that we secure our elections. It surprised me when we first started getting in and digging into the elections, and this isn't about rehashing the 2020 election. This is just exposing what took place and to make sure it never happens again. And there's some really easy steps that can be taken to secure our elections. And it shouldn't be a partisan issue. This should be something that every American, regardless if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're an independent, you're a libertarian, regardless if you live in a blue state or you live in a red state, everybody should know that their vote counts. And we have individuals that are voting that shouldn't be. It cancels out someone that should be. So I want to go through some things in a little bit more depth than what we were able to expose last night, because President Trump, he hit the highlights, and those should be scary for everybody. What we're going to do is dig in just a little bit deeper, and then we'll take some of your questions. So first of all, Department of Homeland Security, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in just 4 states. Mind you, we have 46 other states, and just 4 states, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in California, and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada. We also worked with proactive states to identify 28,000 non-citizens on their voter rolls, plus 400,000 individuals that are still registered to vote that are deceased. Now, these 23 states, they proactively worked with us on the SAVE program. That's Georgia, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, North Carolina, Idaho, Alabama, Missouri, Louisiana, Kansas, Arkansas, Wyoming, Montana, Iowa, Florida, South Dakota, Indiana, Arizona, South Carolina, Utah, Nebraska, Michigan, and my great home state of Oklahoma. What's interesting to me is we're getting pushback from activist judges that are saying that, hold on, the SAVE Act or the SAVE program, they are trying to put a stop to. Currently, because of the SAVE program, we have a pending appeal because activist judges are saying what? They don't want to secure our elections? Once again, how is this a partisan issue? This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This should be that any judge and any God-fearing individual that loves this country should want to make sure that our elections are secure. And we have created inside DHS the SAVE program that allows states to proactively look at their rolls. And so when you have 278,000 individuals that are non-citizens registered to vote, plus 400,000 that have already been identified just in 23 states, what can we find? We have all 50 participating with us. We know, talking about our machines, we know for sure that our foreign adversaries, not our allies, foreign adversaries have parts that are vital pieces in our voting machines. We know that they can access what they consider the key to the back of these machines. We know that they can change voter registration and your vote. We know it's possible. There's not a question. It's not even for debate. One thing that I love about numbers and I love about facts is they don't lie. This isn't something that I'm trying to tell you to spin a narrative. This is what is going on. And what we are saying is that every state should partner with us to work to secure this. Once we identify the problem, everybody should be informed. Working with Secretary Lutnick, we are going to make our security enhancements mandatory, meaning that if these states want a grant and they want to be reimbursed to work or to run federal elections, they're going to have to implement security issues. States want a grant, just security issues. We're not trying to get into anything else, but we're saying that the machines have to be secured and that your voter registration list needs to be scrubbed. We need to make sure that individuals that are legally able to vote are voting. We know that Iran hacked our state voter files and attempted to compromise, is the best word I can use, our systems where military members used to vote. So we're working with Secretary Hegseth and the DOW to safeguard those systems and protect our military voters. What's frustrating again in this is that the Biden administration knew this. And our intel community knew this. And not only did they withhold it from President Trump in his first term, but they withheld it, it looks like, President Biden in his term. They withheld this information from the public. They withheld it from Congress. That should never happen again. And because of President Trump's leadership, we're not allowing that to happen. We're telling the American people not to scare them, but to ensure them that we are watching it. We're taking it serious. We will secure our elections. Underneath President Trump's directive, he has gave Department of Homeland Security and myself the tools and the resources we need to secure the elections. But we have to have the states partner with us. If they choose not to, then the voters should hold them accountable. When I was sworn in just over 100 days ago by President Trump, and I can tell you honestly, I haven't quit smiling. I think this is the greatest job that I could possibly have. I said at that time that I'm going to fight for your yard and your backyard like I do mine, regardless if it's a blue state or it's a red state. Department of Homeland Security isn't just keeping you safe on your streets, but we're keeping our voters safe and our elections safe. But we can only do that if we have full participation. Right now, as I said, we only have 23 states participating with us. Out of just 4 blue states, to repeat that number, we found 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote. So for us, we're going to take proactive and reactive measures. At President Trump's direction, our cybersecurity team and CISA will release an updated election infrastructure plan, and it'll be public within 30 days.
These laws can't come fast enough. This is how
states the resources they need to help from the cyber.
This is how
from us.
It is.
If they participate in the SAVE program, we'll provide the service, the resources and training.
Voting
to
is
support
cheated.
state election integrity. We're not trying to change the outcome. We're trying to make sure that American
I am
people
done
trust
with all
voting
the
system.
corruption
Real
these
ID
states have to get
does
people
not
elected that should not
prove
be elected.
citizenship and does not give you the right to vote. You must be a U.S. citizen and you must be eligible to vote. Before and after the election, we will scrub all election records looking for illegal aliens and those who are ineligible to vote, including those that somehow voted, yet they were deceased. If you're illegal and attempted to vote, or you tried to vote illegally for someone else, we will find you and we will charge you. Illegal voter registration and illegal voting both carry penalties up to 5 years in prison and up to $250,000 in fines. We will pursue maximum pressure on this. To let you know,
that's right. Do not use. No more stealing elections.
Early voting.
Americans are tired of it.
After post-election, we will continue to scrub all those that did vote. Those states that don't participate with us, they have public records of those that voted, which is where we found the 250,000 from the 4 states that don't participate with us. We will go through those records one by one, and we will pursue everybody. We will make sure that people know they can trust our elections. If states want the grant funding, to recap, they must secure the elections. I want to thank President Trump's proactive approach to this. He has put together a remarkable team that not only is informing the public about what's going on, but we're also informing Congress, we're informing our states, and we're going to secure our elections. States must be aware of the real threats for voter registration and the system breaches. And I do want to reemphasize the system breaches. Our machines are vulnerable. There are steps that can be made right now that can secure those. I would ask not just the public, but the media. That question should be asked to blue states, because we have red states participating with us. We have some red states that aren't. Every state that's not participating with us should be asked the hard question, why not? What are you afraid of? If they're not willing to do it, it should raise serious questions. It's not that hard. This isn't a partisan issue. So in conclusion, to recap, under President Trump's leadership, DHS is well prepared to support all states, red states, blue states, and local election officials ahead of the midterms. States must do their part to secure our election systems, and we stand by to help. If you are an illegal or you're voting illegally, we will hunt you down, we will find you, and we will prosecute you. The American people must have confidence in our elections. Election security is not a partisan issue, and Homeland Security, we're here to support everybody. The American people, the states, even the media, to get access and the information they need to hold the states accountable. So with that, I'll open up for questions. Yes, ma'am. I think I like the Daily Caller better than the Daily Mail. I really don't like the Daily Mail.
I'll take it. We're on time to each other. There's about 3 months of midterm questions. I'm sure people are watching President Trump's speech last night and watching your remarks today, and they're feeling uneasy about casting their vote in the midterm elections. Can you ensure that the midterm elections will be secure?
First of all, great question. Thank you. When we start talking about can we ensure that the midterm elections are going to be secure? Yes, we absolutely can build confidence in the American people, but the states have to do their part. I will tell you, if the states that choose not to participate with the state program and they choose not to participate in securing the elections, we will make sure that we make those states a priority to look at who voted in their states and hold then the election officials accountable. If the election officials, once we gave them the information they need to secure their elections, and they chose not to, then those individuals can also be held accountable by fines, by penalties, and even, depending on how far it goes, prison time. Let me get the follow-up question, and I'll get to you guys. Hold on one second. Yes.
Secretary, the president has mentioned that there are intelligence officials who cover this up and kept it from him and President Biden. Do you have an estimate of how many intelligence officials who were involved in this?
There's no question the intelligence community from the FBI, CIA, and even other places within DHS, not underneath President Trump's leadership, that was underneath the Biden administration, kept it from President Trump and the American people in Congress. We are currently going through those lists. We will hold each one of them accountable. Some people aren't here. Some people are no longer in the agencies. Those that are, we will be held accountable. Those that abused their role in this will definitely be held accountable, because there is no excuse. If you purposely disobeyed the law and you purposely went around statute, then you have an accountability. You have a legal reason to be held accountable. Yes, sir. Yeah.
And we're going to be on my answer question about the safety program and that is also important and a long time developing a system of name. Associated Press, supporting close to the honest, who say that he experienced mental health issues his whole life, mental history of violence, and even bad guns. What do you say to those Americans who are concerned that you're agency?
Sir, I have not heard that at all. But we understand that it's being investigated, and we'll allow the investigation to go through. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yes. I got back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this briefing today. Is there any analysis on what went wrong with CISA in 2020 and the premature analysis that it was the most safe and secure election? It's now been revealed that obviously it was not. Will Chris Krebs or anybody that was involved in that premature analysis be held accountable?
Everybody that purposely misled the American people, abused their power and their authority, and decided not to continue doing their job will be held accountable. What does that accountability look like? I don't know. Is it criminal? We'll pursue criminal charges. If it is not criminal, we'll make sure you never work for the federal government again, and you never have the ability to have a clearance again. Yes. I will look this way next, I promise.
Some of your numbers, your 278,000 non-citizens from the polls, any indication of how many people actually voted, or the 400,000 are actually deceased, any indication, the total number of people that did vote, and what is your ballpark for how many of these people actually voted?
So those that we've identified, the 278,000 non-citizens and the 400,000 deceased, we are now going through that record. We're standing up a department in DHS. Heather Honey, who is doing a great job exposing all this and working with the team together. Joe Edlow with USCIS and other teams. We are going through these files one by one. And one, identifying the individual. Two, did they vote? And three, where did they vote at? That's a hard, it's easy with states that participate. So the 28,000 that we identified with the 23 states that are working with us, that system can be very easily exposed, all 28,000. The problem is an activist judges now have put a hold on it, and so we're pending the case. Once it's turned back on, we'll be able to move fast. The 400,000 or the 250,000 in the just four of the blue states, meaning what were the states? So I got it right. California, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada. Those are going to be a little bit tougher because we're going to file paperwork for FOIA, even us, to try to get that information from the states. But we will, I don't care how long it takes, we will go by this one by one, and everybody that did vote illegally, we will prosecute. We'll bring up for prosecution. Yes.
Thank you, sir. I have 2 questions for you.
By the way, it's very smart wearing a red dress because you catch everybody's eyes with my clothes. Same thing with the, what color shirt is that? Peach? Orange? I don't think that's orange. That's peach. That's definitely peach.
My first question for you is, given that left-wing lawmakers and CBS have already suggested that the president's entire speech last night is discredited, it seems likely that the states will not participate in your efforts. So how do you plan to respond to that? And then on my second question, on the traffic stops, did the president know about that decision before he made it, and what will you do for it?
Yeah, so let's talk about the major networks not willing to carry the President of the United States address to the nation on election security. How shameful is that? I think it was ABC, NBC, and I don't know if CBS, did CBS carry it? Anybody? CBS carried it. So ABC and NBC not carrying that, why? What are they trying to cover up? Why wouldn't they want to inform the American people? Why are they calling themselves a news outlet if they're not actually trying to put the news out there? We wasn't giving spin on the election. The president wasn't trying to relitigate what happened in 2020, although he definitely could at this point. The president was giving facts, what we have exposed, what the Biden administration covered up, what the intelligence community held from the American people, Congress, and the executive branch, and we're putting it out there. And yet, 2 major networks didn't want to cover it. I think the question really should say why. Because they sure covered the other part of it when they were saying that it was the most secure election ever. What facts did they have? Because they didn't have facts. They were taking someone's word for it. President Trump gave facts. Today we're giving facts. When you start talking about the president and I are very close. I was texting with him this morning. He and I are there's no daylight between us and the enforcement. And in fact, we have ramped up our enforcement and our arresting illegals. Just to give you some numbers on this so everybody knows, and I want to get them correct, so I brought them with me. Last year total in 2025, we deported, now these are not including self-deportations. These are just ones that we had to go through, that we had to arrest, we had to go through the system, and we had to deport, and they tried to stay inside the country and they had no legal status to do it. 442,637 total deported last year in 25. To date, well, these are yesterday's numbers. We have 403,294 that we've done in 2026. Our arrests are up. We're hitting single-day records every single day. But what we've done is I've turned down the temperature of the stove to try to get it correct without boiling over. We're trying to perfect our ability to work with local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and get illegals and criminals off our streets. 70% of the arrests we do daily are felons or have pending felony charges. 70%. We should all be able to work together with that. Total removals is 3 million. Total removals, 3 million. 1.4 total aliens have been, since we've been put in place, have either volunteered to be deported, yet we paid for them, or we forced them. But as I said, total removals have said, hey, we're leaving the country and did it on themselves, was over 3 million. Yes.
I want to ask about foreign.
I'm sorry, who did you say you were?
CSAs.
Well, thank you for covering it last night.
Absolutely. I want to ask about foreign interference in our elections, but just first, since you mentioned turning down the temperature, what assurances can you give Americans that ICE officers will face consequences if they violate DHS's use of force policy? And who will make that determination? And can you commit now to making that determination public?
Well, let me clarify. When I say turn down the temperature, when I turn down the temperature with you guys, we're turning up the heat on the streets. We're out there working harder than we ever have because we've empowered our law enforcement to do their job. What I'm trying to do is remove us from the headlines every single day. But everybody will be held accountable. I don't pick and choose which laws I'm going to enforce. I enforce our nation's laws. That means I'll enforce it with our own agency, and I'll enforce it with the criminals on the streets. That's my assurance. Yes. Go ahead. And I saw you stand up. I'll get to you next. Go ahead.
How pressure on states to cooperate with you in this investigation?
Yeah.
In previous instances where we've had ICE already requiring that registration, this has also happened, for instance, in Texas or in North Carolina, where we had the HSI or Oklahoma agents requesting to talk about the scope of this investigation. It seems like it's more than actually enforced.
So when we start talking about enforcing, first of all, the states to work with us, and then the scope moving forward, I obviously can't force the states, but the states always look to us for reimbursement when it comes to helping with the elections. It's expensive to put on an election. I mean, think about every precinct in every county and then statewide. We are not going to spend taxpayer dollars reimbursing the state that is refusing to secure their elections. And we're not saying do it alone. We're saying we're going to help you. We're going to give you the tools to need it. We're going to give you the training to need it. We're going to give you the funding to do it. We're going to expose the vulnerabilities, and all you have to do is use that information and the finances and the training we're going to give you to secure it. If you do it, we'll reimburse you. If you don't, we won't. Last question. Hey, hold on. I'm getting the guy right there in the back.
Neil W.K. Joe Marcus Voice. What are your former Republican Senate colleagues telling you? Are they in a mood to oust Majority Leader John Thune if he refuses to pass the Save America Act or can't figure out how to pass the Save America Act?
I haven't heard that at all from the Senate saying they're willing to vote John out. John is a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of most people in there. Now, there's a difference of opinion. I think the SAVE Act should be passed tomorrow. I think it should have already been passed. There's no excuse for it not being passed. However, he has a vote problem. There's a number. Leader Thune supports the SAVE Act. He voted for the SAVE Act when it came up during the vote-a-rama. Except everybody controls their own card. And even, I think the last time the vote came up, there was 49 that voted. Even if we did away with the filibuster, it still requires 51. So I know Leader Thune is working hard on that, but he's got a very, very difficult task ahead. Yes. Let me just get to, I'm sorry. I told this guy with a paper I'd get to him, and then this is the last question. I have to go. I'm so sorry. Yes.
I'm just wondering if the officers involved in Houston shooting as well as the major shooting, are they still on administrative leave?
Why any investigation that's going through, I don't care which law enforcement, I don't care if you're local PD, if you're county, if you're state, or if you're federal. When there's a shooting involved, standard practice is that individual goes on administrative leave while the investigation is going through. And we do it the same way. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Mr. Balderson, Mr. God's favorite aunt. How are you today? Muted, rookie.
Morning, gentlemen.
So I sent you a message in the back chat. I hope you saw it.
I have not. I just got in here and I was outside. Found in many states over 500,000 people that were dead or illegal.
There was a list of states.
California's got to be the top state, I would think.
It was Aunt, do you remember? I know it was California, Pennsylvania, and there was another state.
I was listening. I wasn't really watching.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they found over 500,000 people that were registered to vote.
How did they do this?
But did they vote? I mean, that is
yeah.
Should be clean, but
well,
it definitely.
I am sure it was the mail in.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
That's what the man claimed. It was mail in voting. That people,
so they're saying there was 500,000 mail in votes that shouldn't have been counted.
Correct. That's what they're saying. A lot of the states joined the
that's a lot more than 200.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That is a lot more than 200.
Yeah. So a lot of the states in the United States teamed up with this committee, and
from what I saw in the paperwork last night, it was 10.
Well, that paperwork is wrong.
It's the paperwork that the White House.gov.
Oh, I know.
So, I mean, I you know, that's what Trump said. Go look at. It's what we looked at, and it said.
Well, you're talking about the Heritage Foundation. That's not the White House.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the White House put out the WhiteHouse.gov.
Oh,
thing, and there and looked at it, and it showed 10 states that joined this program.
I remembered we were looking at the Heritage thing because of Cameron making claims and.
Right. Yeah. No. This was just looking at
something different. Okay, my bad.
We opened up the WhiteHouse.gov thing that he was talking about last night. We opened it up and read it,
And in there, it said that 10 states had joined the SAVE Act, and then it listed how many deceased.
Save Act or Save America Act? They are different.
It's the Save America Act is what he was quoting.
Yeah, yeah, and it gave a list of, it was 10 states, I believe, if I remember right, and it gave a list of how many deceased registrants that they found and how many illegal registrants that they had found.
Well, the number has gone up obviously significantly. I don't know when that report was from, Ben. I apologize. I was dealing with other things last night.
We know politicians lie. Are we surprised they cheat too?
Well, you know, I mean, but I know California had that was the biggest number of deceased from what this gentleman said. California, son of a bitch, and I can't remember.
What about it?
It was illegals and people that were deceased. I know Pennsylvania. They named Georgia, Ohio, Oklahoma. I'm looking for the updated.
I'm kind of surprised that they try cheating in places like California, where they're almost guaranteed a win.
Yeah, California is a blue state, no matter anyway. So what's the? It's like in South Dakota, finding out that they cheated in South Dakota, which they don't even fucking come and actually give speeches or do anything, because South Dakota is going to be red no matter what happens.
Well, I'm going back in the. Give me just a second, Ben, if you can carry it for a second. I want to get the states and everything where he was saying that it was.
The only thing I could think of in California is they got concerned about the rural vote suddenly, because I know, like, once you get out of the cities in California, it becomes a lot more purple and red.
Oh, right. It's red extremely when you get out of the city areas.
So if those numbers started to become concerning, I could see why they might try bolstering their numbers. And mind you, concerning can be a matter of just 1 or 2 percentage points. We're not talking about huge margins here. You only have to win by 1%.
Yeah.
You have to win by 1 vote, technically.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with thin margins. They're not going to risk like some huge, massive scale fraud, because that'd be easy to see. It's going to be a lot of little ones that are harder to see.
Right. Which in California, that's all that takes to offset the rural votes, is because the rural votes is the majority of the state. The Democrat votes is Sacramento, LA, and fucking the Bay.
It's just weighted more towards them because it's higher population and concentrated population as well. So it's a lot easier to actually campaign in those areas compared to, like, for example, go to a rural area. You're talking about hundreds of square miles of land. All these people are spread way the fuck out. You know, you're not going to get them all to come 2 or 3 hours away just to listen to you talk.
No, you're going to get 12 people.
Yeah,
that's what you're going to get.
So they don't think it's a way. You're not going to waste your time on that.
It's just like our protests out here, because we have protests in Garberville and shit like that. Like 8 elderly people and some dude that couldn't even get a job at a fucking as a trimmer show up at those things.
The technology should be fixing this for us. It should be a lot easier to participate and listen to on what our government's wanting to do and their campaigning without actually having to be physically present. But that hasn't really panned out quite as well as we'd have hoped. I mean, they still do like virtual town halls and stuff. That is a thing. I'm not trying to say it's not. It just doesn't seem to be as effective as in person.
No, it definitely nothing. Even for us, like, you can hang out on a panel, but if you start hanging out with somebody in person, they're your friend. Like, you know, like,
oh yeah, sure. Distance relationships are tricky, right? Because all relationships are based off trust.
Okay, go ahead, Ann. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, like, if you're going to trust someone you've actually been able to interact with physically over someone you've only talked to remotely, it's not impossible. It just takes longer. The example I love to bring up is Catherine the Great and Voltaire. They were very close friends for like over 15 years, and they never met once in person.
Okay, so I just went back into it. I mean, it was right in the front, so I knew where to go in the
Yeah,
video. So
does it give us a website to go to look at the findings of this, or have we just
I
taken
did not hear one. I'll replay it. I'll take a break for just a second after I read this.
read it
to you, and I'll see if there is a website, and if there is, I'll bring it up on the screen, Ben. In the early Biden regime, when the border was open, there were 250,000 non-citizens in California, PA, New Jersey, and Nevada that registered within a 2-month span. There was 28,000 non-citizens.
So divided over four states. So we're talking.
Well, that's 4 states of the sanctuary.
Right. I'm not disagreeing that they're sanctuary state or.
Okay, I'm just giving you the.
I'm just trying. I'm just running the numbers here. We got 4 states, 250,000 people.
Now, there were 28,000 non-citizens registered, and I couldn't write them down fast enough, but I'll give you the states that I could get. Georgia, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, Idaho, Alabama, Louisiana, Oklahoma.
Is this the same list we looked up last night? Are they pretending like this is shocking, the thing that he said last night?
No. And then there was over 400,000.
That's the number I'm wanting to hear or see where because the rest of this sounds like it was just in the paperwork that in the files that we looked through last night. But
but there was over 400,000 deceased within Georgia, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, Idaho, Alabama, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. And there was a couple more. I'm sorry, I just couldn't write them down fast enough. So if you do the numbers of them all, just let me do some math here. That's 678,000 people, if you add them all together, that did not have the right to vote and or were deceased. And these were all mail-in paper ballots.
So the list that was given last night from the actual supposed released intelligence, the states were Georgia, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, North Carolina, Idaho, Alabama, Missouri, Louisiana, and Kansas. And given what they released just last night on whitehouse.gov for all the public to view, that doesn't add up remotely fucking close. You know
what? I have it still pulled up. I'll replay. Ben, do you think it's worth replaying that little section to the audience?
Hold on one sec. Yes, I do. But before we do, hold on. I want to pull this up. Right here. So this is what was in whitehouse.gov that they told us last night, that this was the intelligence, the legit intelligence information. And according to this, it looks like most of these states, the bottom 3 are in the 10,000s. Idaho's down at 4,000.
Sure.
Texas is up at 100,000. This does not add up to even remotely close to the numbers that you're citing.
Okay, well, I will, if you unshare.
And this is to answer Ant's question earlier. Enhanced this in the short time that the enhanced save system has been available to the states. 10 states have processed their full voter list as of June 22nd, 2026. A total of 25 different states processed more than 68 million registration records through the save system. DHS has enabled those states to identify over 400,000 deceased registrants and 228,000 non-citizens who illegally registered to vote. So this is according to the SAVE system.
And that was produced. Pull that back. Oh shit.
And then
was that? Can you pull that back up for just a second?
Yeah, I gotta pull my SAVE back up. Hold on, I got it.
Was that if you hold on 1 second? I want to read something. Hold on. Okay, Ben, can you still hear me? I've never done this.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I think Ant just came back in. Pull him up.
I pressed the wrong button. Sorry about that.
Now that was
what I read, Ant, about the SAVE system and these numbers. Okay.
Now, Ben,
I heard
does that say it's still just a little too small for me?
Yeah.
Does that say June 22nd, or does that say
yes, June 22nd, 2026?
As of June 22nd, 2026.
Okay.
That's really current, considering we're looking at a study like that.
Where was
you
that
understand
from,
these things
man?
take a long time to compile.
This is from whitehouse.gov. It's in the release from last night. This is in the Alien Voter Registration Summary PDF.
Okay, can you move down just maybe 1 or 2 notches?
This is the entire page, so this is all.
Oh, okay. Can you read where it says unambiguous contrast?
Unambiguous.
I really can't see it. I'm sorry.
That's not a problem. Not a problem. There is an undeniable
judge's name.
There is an undeniable pattern emerging as DHS begins to unravel the horrific damage done by the open border policies of the Biden administration. States that have adopted alien first policies instead of America first policies have a disproportionate number of non-citizens on their voter rolls, which, considering the only states that have done this and they can verify these numbers through are all red states. I'm not sure how they can make that statement in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you can make the assumption. We assume that the states that are not following these policies have a disproportionate number. But when the states that have reported are all
but consider this.
States, then you give me an actual number, motherfucker. Don't just go, oh, well, we did this.
Because we can infer that. We can infer that.
We can infer it, yes.
Well, not infer, sorry, deduce. We can deduce it because, these are the states complying, and they have these issues. If the states are actively encouraging the conditions that create this and allow this, it's reasonable to expect that we are going to see much higher numbers in those states, and that's possibly why they don't want to cooperate and report them.
Now, according to Mr. Muller,
thing to assume, but you can't state it unequivocally like it's a fact when you don't.
I didn't.
No, not you. I'm not saying you, Ant. The paperwork in there, they stated it like it's a fact, but then also didn't list the numbers to back the fact up.
That's true. That's a fair complaint. But this was also a summary. I assume, if we went through the full bill, we would probably get more of the sources and whatnot.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll play this.
You took it off. I want you to go back and read that judge's name.
Can you?
The activist judge.
Well, we'll do that. We'll do that whenever. But this is only a couple minutes. But it seems like that was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ben. That was from June of this year.
June 22nd was the date that they
22nd. Okay, so
less than a month ago.
According to Muller, the guy on the screen, this was just done last night. I could be wrong. Please don't yell at me if I'm misquoting, but he says it.
I haven't even heard it, so I don't even know.
Okay, all right. So I will play just a little bit of it so you can actually hear it. But there were many other states at that point now that have joined this.
25 other states have partially have started the process, but they have not completed their voter rolls. So it said 25 other states had already started the process.
Okay, so I'll let this play for just a few minutes, and Ben, whenever we get it, just tell me and I'll take it down.
Yep.
Those should be scary for everybody. What we're going to do is dig in just a little bit deeper, and then we'll take some of your questions. So first of all, Department of Homeland Security, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in just 4 states. Mind you, We have 46 other states, and just 4 states, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in California and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada.
These are all states that I don't believe are trying to cooperate.
And these are they don't want to cooperate because they need the votes. So
right.
The
so
states
my
that he just
curiosity then is if these states aren't cooperating in the last 3 weeks, what has made them get all this information on these states that refuse to cooperate? How did this come about?
I think he explains it, but
Okay.
but that is, but wouldn't you say, I mean, I don't think anybody would be remiss to say that we are not surprised that California is in that list. California, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey are all blue states. I think Nevada
was the top state for the cheating. I would assume, but you just make a blanket statement, and just less than 24 hours ago, the president came on air and said, "Here is the information we have. I have released it to the public. This is our top secret information." And then I go into that information, and now this fella comes out less than 24 hours later and tells me he has different information that is separate from this other stuff that they somehow have magically got. I want to know how in the last 3 weeks, these states that were not cooperating, and it says that in your paperwork, have suddenly you've gotten all of their information. Did they start cooperating? Did you force them? How did you get this information, and where can I find it to verify the veracity of it?
Right. And you know what? No, it's not Trump is crying that he lost. It's a very real thing. Everything, and you know, this is what pisses me off about people. Trump is Trump. This has been going on for years.
But so far, Spin, what we've received is, we went through that paperwork last night. It's garbage. It's hot garbage. It's a propaganda piece by Trump, and we all saw it. We all looked at the page with the check marks on it, and it said China did not interfere, that China, the only thing they can actually say that they did was make fun of Trump, which is perfectly acceptable. That's not election interference.
No, it's just people being people.
What I'm saying. So while you're getting worked up at these people, where's our proof? And what they're saying right now is contradictory to the proof that we were just given fucking like 14 hours ago.
Right. No, I was in the back. I saw it. What I'm saying is everybody is just blaming Trump for everything. This has been going on each administration.
Oh, yeah. Dude, cheating's been going, high level of cheating's been going on.
Exactly.
So been alive.
Okay, just because, but see, here's the thing though, Ben and Ann, I'll let you have it here in a second. Ann, I know you want to comment. This needs to stop.
I agree.
I think everybody should be a little angry about, you know, look at, you know, on a state level, and Ben, I'm going to pick on California for a second. Look at fucking Gavin Newsom. He is the worst fucking governor in history for the cheating and the theft and the paybacks and the kickbacks and them going down to Skid Row and paying people for a vote.
That's kind of a fucking tough statement for you to make, that he's the most corrupt in history. Like,
Ben, $1 million for a press conference to save the fucking trees.
You should study history a little bit, bro. A little bit. Our current generation of politicians is not the first fucked up generation.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. Ben, respectfully, I do not disagree with that fucking statement at all.
FDR set us on a path that we're still trying to course correct from.
Yeah. Well, Ant, here's the thing. Look at your governor where you live. Look at the governor Tina fucking Kotex in Oregon.
I don't want to talk about my state's leadership. They're retards. They have been for a long time. The Seattle mayor is
I'm just saying.
At one time, all right. So I don't like seeing the decay of Seattle because I love the city.
Uncle Fatty, I dropped the link. If you want to come up here, I'll drop it again and we can all talk.
But at the same time, her complete ineptitude, I hope, will inoculate us against future democratic socialists for a long time after she completely destroys the economy in that city.
Yeah, I can definitely put a couple governors up that at least hold fucking water with Newsom. One of them was fucking Brigham Young. Brigham Young was removed from his governorship. That guy was just straight killing people.
But here's why I say Newsom's not only more corrupt but better at it, is that he has survived recalls.
Dude. Don't get me started.
Nobody likes this guy, but he stays in office. He stays elected. He stays like the poster boy for the DNC, right? Like they want him to be the next presidential candidate at some point in the future.
I don't think that the California DNC does anymore. The California DNC.
Well, for a long time they did. I think recent controversies are pushing him out of that limelight. But until very recently, I would say this was true.
Until the last 2 years, I would agree with you. And then the last 2 years, things have added up to where even the Democrats hate him now.
Well, I think also that DNC is doing a bit of introspection and realizing they can't continue this course, or like they're just going to lose all their support.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I pick on California, because it's hot in the news.
We got news. Jesus Christ, that guy's a nightmare.
Nuisance. That's what I actually call him, is nuisance.
Nuisance, new scum. I've heard them all. They're funny.
Well, the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is he's new scum, and he's a nuisance. He always wants to pass more taxes. The motherfucker wonders why all, like, what was it recently at Meta and Facebook and a couple other big business moving out. The refineries, closing the refineries in California because of all the emissions, and let's just save the environment one state at a time, when nobody is going to pass all these laws and taxes. What was the other one, Ben, for the taxes that they were that Newsom did?
Which one? Holy fuck, dude. We are taxed in 53 different...
No. The latest one, other than the newest one, where something with the roads or something. I forget.
I don't think we got a new tax on the roads that I can think of, but do not hold me to that, because they pass new taxes basically every fucking day here. It's pretty wild.
Well, like I said, I mean, there's just all of this shit in California, and what California is doing is trying to advocate for the Pacific Northwest to follow in suit. Now, sure. I know and I'm talking about the extreme Pacific states.
Yeah. Well, not the extreme Pacific, just the Pacific states.
Yeah, the Pacific. Yes, the Pacific states. The thing is,
Oregon,
Washington, they do not have the tax base to keep, pushing that rhetoric. And I'm using rhetoric nicely, right? I know a lot of people in Oregon can't sit there and afford to pay $5,000-$6,000 in taxes every year, because we have to save the trees and save the whales and the shrimp and aquatic life, blah blah blah. Paying. I know my family in Nevada. Nevada's another one. You pay tax on your vehicle every year just to have a vehicle. I know South Carolina does that shit. on the registrations. You have to pay more vehicle tax. So you pay tax when you buy it, and you keep paying tax every time you renew the registration.
That's insane. I mean,
yeah,
look it up.
It's facts.
We all have registration fees, and I understand that because somebody's got to do the paperwork and all that, and you got to pay for that. But taxes? What are you taxing me on something I fucking own? I mean, property tax. We already got that. That's
well, that's standard across the board. But I'm talking about vehicle tax.
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I already own that shit.
It's the fundamental problem with government, right? We want government to do things. To do things requires money because money represents tradable labor, basically.
Yeah.
And the government doesn't have a means for producing this on its own. The only way it makes money is through fees, tariffs, which are another type of fee, taxes. I guess you call tariffs a tax as well. It's kind of interchangeable. I guess it depends on how it's structured. But anyways, getting on to the point, it has to take money. It has to take money to have money. It has no means to produce it itself. And it's kind of by design also. If we let the government get into industry and production, it has to compete against all of them. And it has its thumbs on the scales.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I understand states need to make money. But when you sit there and say, oh, you got to pay this just to live here. And they're like the employment taxes in South Carolina, and I would not be too hard up to say California and other states that I know of. They're Pennsylvania. That's another one. That is the highest taxed of employment.
Yeah, the blue states that have the most social safety nets and programs like that are definitely going to have the highest taxes because they're spending the most money. And like Ant just said, the state doesn't get money on its own; it gets its money from you. So if your state is voting for a bunch of these heavy social safety nets, then they're going to have to more heavily tax their population to pay for that shit.
Yes, absolutely. So, and you know, listen, you got to pay taxes no matter what. But if you are being that heavily taxed, how can unless you have a $200,000 a year job, how are people doing it? You know, these states wonder why they have homeless.
In California, like I believe when the last figure I saw, more than 40% of people in California are eating out of the food bank.
So I still think property tax needs to be means tested. I don't think that you should be penalized for being poor because you inherited a piece of property.
Yeah,
or forced to sell it.
It's certainly that part where they're trying to do unrealized gains and fucking charge you off of
the wealth taxes, those are insane and stupid.
Insane.
Like the people they're targeting with this can't even pay the taxes that they want them to pay because to do so they essentially have to liquidate most of their assets and continue doing so every year. And then what do you do when you don't have these billionaires to draw from anymore? Because the way that left-wing economic planners work is when they see tax revenue, they add that to their spending. They don't try and figure out like how to operate within the means. It's like, oh, we have more money coming in, and before it's the checks even in their hands, they're spending that money. It's idiotic.
That and more money. That's the funny thing with them. If you give them more, if you give them 10,000, they're like, we can spend 20 now.
Like here in Washington State, they keep talking about getting more money for dealing with the homeless problem. They keep getting more money to deal with the problem. They've sunk billions into it, and the problem gets worse, not better.
Yeah.
I would say it's more than billions, Ant. I mean,
it's in the billions.
Look at the wasteful spending of California.
He's talking about just for Washington. He was
just for Washington, and specifically in regards to tackling the homeless issue.
In California, we got hundreds of billions of dollars to deal with it, and that all disappeared, and there's nothing happened.
Nothing to show for it, except some really expensive public housing that wasn't near enough to handle the issue it was supposed to tackle.
Well, you know what, and that's what pisses me off. Okay, when I saw like California doing that affordable housing and all that other stuff, when you actually looked into it, and I invite you to look at it as well, there were so many qualifications that you had to meet just to be able to get into it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the biggest one was like criminal background.
You betcha. Once you're a felon, they don't let you into those things. So if you happen to have gotten into trouble for something, and let's get real about this, our country, the number of people that have a felony or criminal charges is shocking compared to the rest of the world. Shocking.
Well,
If you don't have some kind of criminal record in America, you're like an anomaly.
No, that's not true. Most people don't have a criminal record, at least not a significant one. It'd be something.
I didn't say significant.
But those aren't even crime. Those aren't even crimes in that sense. They're infractions. They aren't even recorded for in perpetuity. It's like nobody's going to come back, look through your record, and go, "Oh, you got a jaywalking ticket when you were 18." They don't even keep records that long.
Well, what I was saying was you can't be a PDF file.
Right.
You can't be an unaliver. You can't have something.
You can't be a felon. So if you got caught with a quarter pound of weed at one point in time in a lot of these states, you no longer get to go into public housing, and no matter how poor you are, because you had a quarter pound of marijuana.
Yeah, it was an overreaction to a problem in the 80s. A lot of these Section 8 housing projects and whatnot were being taken over by gangs and used as drug houses,
breeding grounds,
flop houses and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was just a way to try and eliminate that from the equation, but it didn't work.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to ask a really weird question. Would you say that you are being punished after the punishment, that you can't do anything?
Absolutely.
And would you not? I would not be remiss to ask the question, doesn't this contribute to the homeless population?
Yes,
it does.
I've said it on before. I think it's atrocious that after you have done all of your time, you've done even if, like your probation, what have you, because even when you're on probation, you're still technically serving your sentence, right?
100%.
Sure. But after that's all done, nah, they ain't right to be holding that shit against you for the rest of your fucking life. That's bullshit. You served your time, you paid your debt. If you're still a threat after that, then I have to question why the fuck you're still out on the street in the first place.
100%.
I agree with that 100%. Absolutely. I mean, listen, Ben, I'm gonna use you as an example. You did what you did. You served your you served your punishment, right?
Yep. That happened.
I know you very well, but you're not out doing stupid shit.
Nope.
Yeah, he's a very productive human being. He's taking care of himself. He's self-sustaining. So what if he likes a little weed? I like weed. It's good.
I still smoke the weed. I didn't give that up. I just quit putting me in prison for it.
Well, yeah. I mean, but you
and now you could do it legally.
What I'm saying,
I got caught with a quarter pound and lost 8 years of my life, and now I can have 10 pounds on my person at any given time, anywhere in the state, just because.
Nice. That's a lot of weed. Jesus.
But what I'm saying
that is a lot.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, I'm used to dealing with like in fractions of an ounce, and these motherfuckers over here with pounds.
Grand mal seizures does have one benefit.
I'm glad it's got one, because that stuff is horrible.
Do not use says if Libtard had their way, the 20 million would vote, and Biden would let them. That's true. That's if he got back in, we would have had the same problem. And here's the other fact to that, and then I want to make another comment on what we were just talking about. we would still have all the illegal people coming across the border too. And the next administration or whatever the case may be would have to get rid of them and cost the taxpayers 10 to 20 times more. Right? So at the end of the day, which would add to the national debt or to the debt. And guess what? We're never going to dig ourselves out of the hole. These problems were a previous administration's fault that this administration is trying to fix.
I realize he's trying to put all the blame on this for Biden and pretending like this just happened in 2020.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it just happened.
But, well, that's what he's saying. I didn't say you said it. Trump distinctly stated every time that this started in 2020, and that's absolute horseshit. I would like to also see some paperwork that says before 2020, there was no dead registered voters and there was no illegal registered voters, but then all these people appeared in 2020. I want to see the paperwork showing me that in 2019, none of these people existed on registration. And then in 2020, magically, all these people appeared on registration.
Well, I'm not saying I cannot say with a conclusory fact that it was just 2020, but
that would be one way to look. But Ben, they could have been existing registered voters that just never voted and were picked up by whoever's running these schemes or scheme if it's one, and use those identities. And we could test for that. We just look at registered voters that never voted before that election as well.
Sure. I agree with that, but that's not what they did.
I agree. I'm not okay. You're criticizing the process. That's fine.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I have huge problems with how these things are done because they'll make it look as legitimate as possible, but they are fucking with the samples, the sample sizes, and everything else to get the p-value they want out of the study.
Yeah. But
I hugely hate it because that's just lying. And if lying was something I love.
Though, Ant, that does not negate the fact that real investigations, or what they are calling real investigations by the Department of Homeland Security and all the states and all voter records, believe it or not, are public records. So it could be FOIA request.
Correct.
Requested.
Because they're anonymous.
Right. The numbers.
Right. Yeah. I would say why it can be released publicly because there's no private information in them.
Correct. Yeah. It's not like Benjamin Balderson voted for Kamala Harris. They're not going to show that, right?
But as I understand it,
using you as an example.
if I'm not mistaken, in most laws or in most states, there's laws that actually require
what your name is.
Well, that they keep records of elections for so long, so that if there's any contesting of an election, they've got the records available in the courts.
Just like your taxes.
Is it? I thought it was only like 2 or 3 years when I looked it up.
Smart ass. I have no idea. I just pulled that up.
It's 3 years. It's 3 years, Ant.
Okay. I looked it up a while back and I was like, I thought it was like 2 or 3 years, but I believe 7. That seems like be like a magic year for record keeping.
Well, that's why I did it. Cause I was like
smart ass
7. Yeah. I'd being a smart ass. I was like 7. That's how many years we have to keep our paperwork. Yes.
But it's still, and what I guess obviously there's so much speculation of, why this is happening now, but it has been an ongoing problem for many, many years. It's just we all know that there is cheating and fraud everywhere, state, local, federal, whatever. But what I think needs to happen, and with hearing the numbers today, I'm sure, Ben, you might have changed your mind a little bit, and God, I hope Cameron does, that we do need some sort of voter protection. So many years in the future, when people get to the voting age, it is concrete that the people that are voting are allowed to vote. And the only way that I have seen, when I read the SAVE Act and I read the Save America Act, not into its entirety, but skim read it. What they're trying to do is make free and fair elections by giving a whether it's an endorsement on your license. I know, Ant, you're good at research, but it was like something to make a thing on your license that you can vote because you're an American citizen. You have proven you're an American citizen.
That is basically what the real ID was supposed to do.
Right. But people bypass that.
How did they bypass the real ID?
Because it doesn't cover elections. The real ID, yes, it makes sure that you are a legal resident. You are supposed to be here. You're not an immigrant, et cetera, blah, 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 right? But if you read the back of your driver's license,
yeah, my driver's license
clearly states
good for voting. My driver's
so what your driver's license would essentially,
I don't have a real ID. I presumed that the real ID would be good for that.
No, because
mine doesn't say that.
because the
your driver's license
is issued by the state, not the federal government.
Right, but the real ID
license, and I have just a normal. I don't have the real ID. I just got a license, and it says this.
Oh, because it's not a real ID. Okay, that's why mine is.
Yeah, mine's not. So what? All right, so let's compare yours. Do you have yours in hand?
I have mine.
What's up?
Let's compare it. Mine says this card is not acceptable for official federal purposes. This license is issued only as a license to drive a motor vehicle. It does not establish eligibility for employment, voter registration, or public benefits.
Yeah, none of that's on mine. It's like driver's license, federal limits apply, all my detailed information about me, some unique numbering for the state and feds, I suppose. And on the back is barcodes. And it says it has a class. I only have a regular driver's license, not a CDL, so there's nothing there. So there's no class endorsements. And then restrictions, I wear glasses, and it notes that. And then the others just about if someone found my license. There's nothing about
mine sounds like yours. Like here's the barcode. Yep. This says it's a class.
This it even looks like mine.
It's right here in this corner.
That's not on mine.
That is.
That's completely absent on mine. Otherwise, ours look very similar. I assume it says California on yours instead of Washington, but other than that. Also, I got a new picture and it's fucking horrible. I hate the fucking DOL, man. I swear they have like a filter for doing this on purpose. I go in there and I look like I should be out harvesting copper from people's fucking houses or something. So fucking mad.
You think your fucking picture's bad? Look at that fucking picture.
I don't have a camera. I can't. Oh, wait. I could. No, I don't have a way of getting it to you guys.
Mine.
He looks like he's driving a fucking white van with no windows and often
has candy spray painted on the side.
Yeah.
Well, mine doesn't. Mine doesn't even say that. And I just looked in my phone because I take a picture.
Is yours a real ID or not?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Let me land it.
Well,
I have a picture in my phone.
I don't know which ID you have while you're telling me this.
I have a real ID.
Okay.
I have a picture when I didn't. I have a picture of my license when I didn't, front and back, because there's times where I've gone out of the house and I just I left my wallet or whatever on my desk. So I always have something to prove who I am and whatever. Even when I didn't have the real ID, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it through my green screen or not, but it doesn't say anything about like benefits or anything like that.
It's saying that on mine, it says you're not eligible. And that might be because it's such a prominent thing in California. And one of the impetuses for the fucking real ID in the first place was that California was giving driver's license to this is what was stated in the mainstream, that
Sure.
California was giving driver's license to illegal immigrants. So then they had to upgrade to like a citizen's type ID, because then also they didn't want these non-citizens not to have a driver's license. I mean, the states like that. They don't give a shit. Like the state wants you to pay taxes. They don't care if you're fucking selling weapons to fucking Nicaragua. They're like, yeah, we don't care. Just pay your taxes on it and the IRS will leave you alone. But if you
Sure,
don't pay your taxes, we're coming.
Sure. And that's what I'm saying. But I've never seen until you said it and showed me the one day what was on the back of it. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, well, honestly, I was shocked the day I noticed it. I was like,
does Christie's have that on the back too?
Yep. Because
Really?
yeah.
I think I had the option to opt out of getting a real ID, but I was like, why wouldn't I just get it?
Well, see, here's the thing.
We had the option to opt out, which we did, and then they gave us this license that basically this isn't good.
You can basically. I'm surprised that Christie can get on a train, because I know there. Now, let me say this. I know if I'm correct, when Trump was pushing the real ID, wasn't it that by a certain like 2030 everybody has to have a real ID? I don't remember. I know there was
that so many times, because this originally started in what, like 2018, 2019, and originally they were saying to fly or do all these kind of things by 2020 you were going to have the real ID, but then people didn't really go for it the way they wanted, and COVID hit. So then they went and they said, oh, well, we're going to back off that. You don't have to have the real ID to do these things. But flying, I believe flying is one of the things that they're most.
Yes. Domestic commercial flights, entering federal facilities, and entering nuclear power plants.
Yeah.
You don't need it to drive a car, vote, buy alcohol, firearms, or other everyday ID checks, or international travel, which requires a passport, which is
but here's the thing, though. If you have a passport, I have a passport. My wife has a passport.
If you have a passport, you don't need a real ID. It's a step above it.
Because you're presenting your birth certificate, social security card, you're proving that you're a citizen of the country that you've applied for. But while you're doing your passport, you might as well, you have the shit in your hand, drive up the street to the motor vehicles and get a fucking real ID.
I have no desire to have a real ID.
Oh, shit. This is actually already went into full enforcement. Started May 7th, 2025.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
I thought this was a still ongoing process that they were deploying. I didn't realize that. And also, it's just a set of standards for the states. Like, it's still up to the states how they implement it. They just have to meet the federal standards.
Well, and you know what, Uncle Fatty, you just said something. The Star Card, that's for skipping the TSA line. I don't have one of those because whenever I go through, I have all kinds of electronic.
Even as they're saying it, they're saying that basically it's only for you to do the things that aren't listed. So that's all they're doing is saying I can't fly if I don't get.
What was the list again, Ant?
Domestic air travel, domestic commercial air travel, entering federal buildings, and entering nuclear power plants.
Right. Well, whenever I went to DC to get my media credentials, I had to show my ID, and she said, the lady asked me, you all have real IDs? And I said, yeah. So she had to run my.
But you were doing a federal thing. I'm not trying to do federal things.
No. I understand. I was just saying the process. She had to put it through a machine, and she said if it turns green, push OK. If it turns red, don't touch it.
It's interesting nuclear power is on there because nuclear power is a private industry. That's not controlled by the federal government directly, but it makes sense because a lot of the materials are under very strict federal control, and the security on nuclear power plants is insane.
Bam Low says, I use my USA passport and trump that little yellow star. Yes, on my license. On my license, I have that little. Can you see that, Ben, in the camera?
Yep.
Totally. Oh, is that where it's at? I don't have that on mine.
Well, this is Florida, obviously, but
what's the star represent?
Real ID. Yeah.
I have a golden tree. I wonder if that's what they used for my state.
Oh, yeah, that sounds.
You're in Washington, right?
Yeah, the evergreen state. So it makes sense they would use a pine tree as their little symbol.
Yeah, that does make sense. See where mine in that spot. Mine in that spot says federal limits apply.
Well, that says it on mine too.
Yes.
That's true regardless. There's always federal.
But I don't have no fancy thing. The only thing mine says that's odd is veteran. I have my veteran status is on mine, but I don't have a star or a tree or a bear. It's California, so maybe a bear.
I don't have it on mine. I don't. But they don't offer to put it on your license in my state.
Yes. Right here, Ant. I'll share it. This is.
Oh yeah, dude. That's so nice when I go in for I go to a store and I want they give veterans benefits and they ask you for proof. It's right on my fucking ID.
Now this is not anybody's license that
it's a sample, John. Yeah.
This is This is just a sample, but the tree means that's a real idea.
Gotcha. That's what we deduced.
Yeah. I just wanted
and mine
to
doesn't say veteran. That's interesting. I'm not super concerned about having it on there, but maybe in 8 years when I renew it, I'll ask them about it.
Oh, dude,
you have to tell them. My grandfather was a veteran, and you have to tell them that you're a veteran, and you have to bring your DD 214.
Okay. Yeah, to the driver's license station, but once it's on there, and I go into hotels or I go to AutoZone or any place that gives me because a lot of those places give you 10%. That's no joke.
Yeah, it's at least the tax. Most places.
When I was actively in the fire department, on my license it had FFPAR, and I would show my ID, and they would give me 10%.
Depending on what's going on, we always interact with the chat. But if you definitely want me to see what you say, send a super chat and we will read it and discuss it.
Absolutely.
How long are you going for?
Probably about another 20-25 minutes.
Okay, I'll hang out. There was something I wanted to check out. And it only runs for a couple of hours, but it's not far away and it's not critical, and we've got plenty of time.
Okay, well, yeah, we're maybe tops 30 minutes because Ben has to get back to doing what he's doing, and then I have to get ready.
I was actually out working, and Spin sent my wife to go get me while he started the stream, and I had to come up.
I saw you went live.
She said you were down in the lower half. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I guess I was watching over on X because I wanted to see the difference between X and YouTube, and said hi, and then he sent me a link. I want to talk to him. What did I do this time? Shit.
Anyway, but the whole point that I was going to make about this voter fraud and this cheating, I think it is the smartest thing to do, respectfully, to get it to slow down or whatever, and to work progressively towards free and fair elections, because
I'm not going to disagree with that. Don't disagree with that at all.
I mean, there has to be, in my mind, intuitively, the United States, yes, being a constitutional republic and being what we consider free, there has to be some sort of accountability for things that happen. Now, the one thing in there, he said that you can, if you are caught cheating in a federal election, you can spend 5 years of your life in Camp Cupcake.
Dude, they don't charge no fucking people that fucking have power. That's the problem, and this is
No. I'm saying
two-tiered-
citizens.
We got two-tiered justice system, straight out. And those citizens, the ones that are working, are the ones helping these campaigns. Like one of the worst examples that I can think of for voter fraud is Broward County, Florida, right there where you live.
Oh yeah.
Broward County has more giant voter fraud problems, where they even got caught fucking taking a whole van full of votes and taking it away, and then there's no accounting for what happened to it. Like,
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt for just a second. I apologize. Sean Joe, thank you for the cookie. Sean Joe says, if you do not have a real ID or other documents at the airport, they will charge you $45 to do a background check. It takes 30 minutes for them to do.
No shit.
Oh, you've got an alternative then.
I wish I could put it up on the screen and I could show it to you.
So you've got a substitute. You don't want the real ID? Well, you've got an option. You can just spend a few extra bucks and you can get through it.
Well, $45 in 30 minutes to do the background check before you're even admitted through the TSA line. That's a little. I mean,
if you want the economic solution, you get the real ID. If you're wanting
I don't disagree with that.
If getting that real ID is a problem for you for some reason, like you don't agree with it, whatever, you've got an option now. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but you're putting a burden on us.
But wait a minute, though, dude.
Ann is 100% right here. And
I was just gonna say that
I live outside the system in more ways than most people even imagine can happen.
Right.
And people ask me how I live the way I live. It ain't easy. They don't make this for you. If you want to do this, it is possible, but they are going to make it harder and cost more for you to do anything with the system, because they're like, you're out, motherfucker. We ain't helping you.
Oh, well, yeah. No, I agree, Ben. I 100%. Right.
But that's the way they do this in every way. So you can hey, you don't want that real ID. You think that's a problem? Then you can still fly, but you're going to pay extra money. You're going to go through extra steps. And now you don't have to have the real ID. That's fair in my book. In my book, and even though I'm the guy that would have to pay the extra money, I'm still saying this is fair.
Oh, someone like Ben probably 100%. Flies once every 10. I know you don't go anywhere, but assuming like you had to travel across the country, I imagine it'd be very rare. You're talking like once every 10 years or so. Like $45 over that kind of a time period is chump change.
Exactly. And if I don't want the real ID, that's to me a cheap enough cost to live how I want to live.
Sure.
Exactly. Now, I don't see a problem here at all.
Well, one thing that would stop you, Ben, from you and Christy from even getting it, you do not have any like utilities.
Yep.
But I don't remember. Ann, can you do a cursory search and just see what the requirements are
for what?
A real ID, real quick?
It has
the same thing as a regular ID.
No, but there's you've got
to bring your birth certificate, your social security card, and then some utility bills and shit. Like that
but I know there's other things that you could prove. Like I know a DD 214 is, you can use that as evidence.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But I know there's an actual list, and I'm just saying my monitors are filled up. I'm monitoring the chat, so I apologize.
My wife got a DD 214 now. Only I do.
But I know there's a list of requirements, and I think it's along the same lines as a passport. If anybody in the chat can verify that.
The problem is it's going to vary state by state. I'm trying to find like the overall federal regulation.
Sure.
Because that's going to give us the baseline. Here's it. USA Gov. All right. Your birth certificate, U.S. passport, permanent residence card, your green card, if you're a non-U.S. citizen, social security number. So the documents you can provide would be a social security card, a W-2, or a pay stub or paycheck from your job.
Like I said, there was more that
Proof of your residency. So a deed, mortgage statement, lease agreement, utility bill, or bank statement.
Now they did not before let us use now this was for banking purposes. It wasn't for getting an ID. But when we went in, Christy and I originally, when we moved here, could not get a bank account because we did not have a utility bill. And even though we brought in the deed, this bitch straight looked at me and my wife and all snotty faced and goes, "That doesn't mean you live there." Yeah, fucking
in a legal sense it does, though. That's how you establish residency. Look, I get mail here.
Exactly.
Like straight up said that to me, and I was just like, "Yeah, fucking cunt."
I've had the same bank account, the same bank since I was 18 fucking years old, right? And the only thing that I had to do after, like when we moved from Pennsylvania to Florida, they only required me to show proof of residency with a utility bill and the deed.
Right, but again, we don't have a utility bill. We have no utilities.
Well, your internet is technically
that Starlink. It's not attached to my house. I could fucking have that Starlink fucking satellite anywhere, and just sit down and do it.
But don't, when you got it, Ben, I've never signed up for Starlink. Do you have to prove like your ID or anything
to get Starlink?
Yeah.
No, you actually went to, when I did it, and this has been a couple of years now. You go to Best Buy or whoever the fuck, and you just buy the Starlink kit, because that's the thing with Starlink. You have to buy the equipment up front, and you buy the equipment. You go online. You use a credit card to sign yourself up, and bada boom, you plug it in, and this thing goes, and then you have internet.
Really? Okay. I didn't know. I was just like,
it's a subscription model, right? You just said? All right.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah. I mean, I could be using I'm using my bank card on it, but I could be using one of them Walmart cards or whatever. It just,
well, Ben, like say you went to Brian's and you took the box or whatever it is. I'm very ignorant to Starlink. I apologize.
Yeah.
I know Brian lives close, but not that close. Could you take that down there, plug it in, and it would do its...
It will find it literally every time I turn on the power, because at night my power is off completely. I have no power in my house. We live off flashlights. Fucking as soon as I start the power in the morning, that thing goes and it resets itself completely. And it'll sit there, and all by itself, that whole fucking satellite thing will start moving around all by itself. And then it'll tell me on my phone, it'll say searching for satellites, and then it searches for which satellite, because sometimes it changes, because depending on where whatever thing's sitting up there, it changes what it's staring at, and so
there's more than one satellite. You're looking at a region of sky where they've licensed for their satellites to go across, and so it's tracking it until it hits the horizon, and then moves back to track the next satellite coming across the horizon. It tries to do this as seamlessly as possible, but sometimes if there's like a power outage or whatever, you'll see a gap where it's trying to figure out where the satellite's at.
Oh, sure.
I have better internet out here with Starlink than I've ever had in any city, anywhere, with no matter what, Ethernet, any of that shit. This is the best internet I've ever had by far. And it's only it just went up to 130, but it was 120.
I would take the Pepsi challenge with my fiber.
Do you have a Ethernet cord, or is your thing you have it Wi-Fi'd your computer?
No, I have it wired into my computer.
Oh, so you have it directly connected, but
you can Wi-Fi it, but I Wi-Fi my phone, obviously, or whatever.
Well, it has Wi-Fi capabilities, though, right?
Yeah. You don't.
That's your router, not your.
You don't even have a router or nothing. It all comes in one box.
That's because it's incorporated into the box. You've got a modem router combination.
It's all one white box. It's a neat looking white, like futuristic looking box with like glowies on it.
Ben,
I guarantee there's a router in there.
When you get time later, can you send me a picture of the little satellite thing, or is that something you can get to?
I actually might. You
it
might
looks
actually.
like an iPad.
I don't know how clear you'll see it, but actually,
No, you can't see it.
No, I can't see it.
It looks like an iPad.
It's right there. See that white thing sitting up by the trees, that's pointing up at them trees?
Not really, Ben.
Not well.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Keep it there.
It's, you got to look through my screen. It's sitting on top of a peacock house.
Okay. I can't really see it, but yeah, I get the gist.
It doesn't help that I don't know what I'm
looking for. Do you have to run a
either.
wire in through the molding or the side of the house to hook it up to the the box?
You just take and you screw that. It's only a receiver. It's probably about twice as big as this.
It's the size of an
and it's about twice as big as this. It's got its own stand with 4 legs and then a wire coming out of it, and the wire goes into this white box back here.
Sure.
And then that thing does all the stuff. Like you said, it's a router and all that shit built into one. And so then that you can either plug into your computer or just Wi-Fi off that box thing.
Sure. Well, the reason why I was thinking about getting it, and I just wanted to see like what the satellite does. Now, do you have to mount that? And it's like put screws or something
I know people that travel with it, and I know a dude that fucking. I was just on a show 2 days ago with a dude that was also going on about how awesome Starlink is, and especially for people like me that live out in the middle of nowhere. And he said that he sometimes he'll just stop places and then just set it on the ground and plug it into his inverter, and just sitting on the ground, it'll.
Well, do you have yours permanently mounted to wherever it is?
I do.
Does it come with stuff to do that, or do you have to buy a
it's
separate?
Already built into a stand. You just need four screws.
Okay, I've never seen one, so I'm sorry.
No, you're all right. It comes built into its stand. Like literally, you just take the whole thing out, and it's got a stand with 4 legs, and you just screw down them. There's some holes at the end of the 4 legs to put screws through or bolts or whatever. And I just went up there to the highest point of my house, which is the peacock house.
Sure.
And because there's a peacock house because the peacocks hang out on the roof, so they've got a house up there. And I put it on top of the peacock house, and
it just moves and does whatever it needs to do. Like say you're on here and it has to move. Does it interrupt the signal at all?
No,
dude. I almost never get loss of signal, like once every 6 months or something.
I have to imagine the only time he has problems is if his power goes out, and that's just because all of the tracking stuff is off.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and then it just has to reset. That's why it takes so long when my generator dies, because then when I get the generator back on, then I got to get the computer and the Wi-Fi on, and the street and the Starlink goes through that whole, like Ant was just saying, it goes through all those things all over again. And then finally I'm online. So
then you can do whatever. Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of one of my favorite trainings in the Army I had. It was like a week-long class on how to use the Harris radio, which is the primary radio system they use for portable satellite communications in the Army. And part of our class was actually setting up the radio outside and connecting to a satellite and beaming a signal off of it.
Sure.
I basically did everything his setup does manually. And it was actually a lot of fun. It was very interesting.
Sure. Well, and here's my thing though. For what I do here, I can't have any lag. But Ben, I've seen you for months now, and every once in a while it'll lag for just maybe a half a second or so. But I mean, yeah, I live in a community, and we do have that capabilities.
I'm sure these numbers mean something more to Ant, but I just ran a speed test on my thing, and this is what my speeds are currently in the middle of the day.
Does that say 213 megabytes per second?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
No.
And then is there different tiered packages to get more if you wanted it, Ben?
Yeah, you could get the industrial strength one. What's up, Howard? You could get the industrial strength one. What did that one cost, guys? The industrial run? $600 a month?
Holy fuck!
It's for businesses, obviously.
Yeah, there was one for businesses, like where you were gonna have 20 people constantly streaming, and this thing is just like, like the monster of internet and fucking. Hold on, let me look, because
it's how we get those Ukraine videos.
They have them all the way down to 40. They have 40 and 130. Really? See, when we signed up, there was only 2 plans. There was the home plan, which was 120, and then the commercial plan, which was a whole bunch. Let's see. Now it has residential. You can get 100 Mbps for 55. Residential 200 Mbps for 85. Residential max, which is apparently what I'm on, is 130, which is up to 400 Mbps unlimited.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No, this shit's fast as fuck. They don't have the commercial package on this page anymore. I'm gonna have to Starlink commercial. Starlink for business. That's the one. We're going to be done here in just a minute, honey. Yeah, I'll go back. I'll go back down, and then we got to finish shearing too.
Okay, so I have
request a quote. Oh, I hate it when they fucking do that. It's not even giving a price. It's request.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
My download speed is 1.3 Gbps.
Gigabit.
My upload speed is 1.89 Gbps.
Gigabit per second.
My latency ping is 8 milliseconds.
I don't know what any of that means.
Spin's the illest gamer for real.
So
no, it's because I do like my house. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm supposed to have 7 gigs.
Yeah, but okay, the speed of the pipe isn't this actual speed you're going to get. It's giving you the capacity, but you have to understand there's a whole lot of overhead that comes with that, and they can't guarantee that capacity 24/7, especially during peak hours where everybody's trying to hop on and use the service.
Sure. No, I get that. Mm-hmm. And that is through I have what's called Frontier.
Yeah,
Communications.
I know who they are. They're a nationwide internet provider.
Are they nationwide?
They're not in my area, but I've heard here. Pretty sure they're outside Florida. I want to say I've known people who've had it outside Florida.
Chris, you said they're in California.
Are they? Okay. I think they bought Verizon, or they're a part of Verizon Fios.
Okay. Well, they might use them as their trunk provider.
Sure.
Or they could be. I don't know. I don't know much about Frontier. Oh, they are a Verizon company. Never mind.
Yeah, they're a Verizon company.
Yeah, I know who Frontier is. They suck balls. Their internet's so bad. And then out here, the only people
not for a spin that doesn't. He's getting great.
No.
Yeah, he's getting great. But out here, it's horrifying.
And is it?
Yeah, so depending on what little area you live in, because we don't have like a universal provider out here in the country. Some people get HughesNet, some people get Frontier, and then what's the other one? No, there's a third one. Viasat. And so there's 3 of them, and they all are horribly expensive and have very small packages, and the internet is just
that's what she said.
Yeah, that is what she said.
Xfinity is big up north. That's a Comcast corporation. Correct. or Charter Network. And then
never heard about Charter.
Uncle Fatty says Spectrum. Well, we have Spectrum here in Florida, but they only offer up to 1 gig. And when we moved into our new home, we've been here 2 years now?
That's all my line is rated for, but I don't feel like I need much more than what I've got, but I'm also not doing anything that's bandwidth intensive.
Well, you're not doing what I do and what Ben does, basically. Theoretically.
Well,
you and Ben do the same thing, but when I'm streaming and I'm showing videos, like when I first moved into this house, we got Spectrum, and Mrs. Spin likes a lot of the network TV shows and whatever. The what are they like, soap operas or whatever? Yeah, she likes the soap operas and Lifetime. But when I was lagging really bad, they couldn't offer me any more speed, so I canceled with them and got Frontier, and I went up to 3 gigs, and that was still lagging a little bit because our home it's a smart home because of me. Like I can push a button on my Stream Deck and take the green screen from behind me.
You have like a little roller thing to come up and down?
Yes.
That's cool.
Because for me to be able to get out, I have to raise the green screen.
Sure. I thought about getting one of those cheapo, stand-up ones that you can get from Amazon for like $40.
Yeah, we tried that. I was knocking the bitch over.
I understand why it doesn't work for you. I'm saying I was thinking about trying one when I get ahead of the game.
Are you saying that the person's computer is also affecting this?
Because it depends on how you have it set up. But NVIDIA has technology called DLSS that leverages online LLM capabilities to render for your graphics card, but it requires bandwidth.
Man, this is I just run StreamYard and we watch YouTube and run StreamYards. That's about all we do on this computer.
Well, all of our TVs, they're smart TVs, so they're connected to the internet.
Sure.
Our refrigerator, believe it or not, is connected to the internet. Our lights.
I'm not that obsessed. I don't want everything in my house.
Well, it came with the house.
Fair enough. I would have actually gone through
new modules. That's all we did.
And I would have gone through and disconnected half that stuff because I don't want some clever hacker deciding he wants to fuck with my lights.
Well,
or my refrigerator, or see what I'm buying with for groceries through my refrigerator, or whatever nefarious bullshit they can pull off with the settings on the refrigerator. Like you have to figure out like, what am I exposing these devices to before you start connecting them to shit. And a lot of these devices, they'll connect to the internet, but they have absolutely nothing in the way of security.
Right. The internet of the internets of smart devices, which may not like climate change denialists.
See, that's not even the problem I'm worried about. The problem I'm worried about is like, these are still computer devices, even if they're not very powerful. There's so many of them that all I have to do is slip a little bit of code into your device and turn it into
I don't disagree. I'm
turn it into a slave for my robot network that I use to do shit online.
Because I live off grid and everybody around me basically lives off grid. We live very simply. So all the houses I go to are, basically like mine. And then when I do shit, like go do like, I went to North Carolina and go into other people's houses and they just like tell their stove to turn, they just like yell at their stove to turn a certain degree. And you're like, why are you talking to your stove?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can do the same thing. There's a keyword. I'm not going to say it because the motherfucker.
Follow-up question: why is the stove talking back?
Phrase. It's just like, okay, hey Siri, the phone lights up. Right.
I have never said that phrase in my life. I'm still from the old school where, when I was a kid, people didn't even talk in the same room as the phone because they assumed that the phone was somehow listening to you. They just made that assumption.
But it's just,
people did not trust the government. And one of the weirdest parts for me in life is people didn't trust the government and they wouldn't do anything, like even talk in a room with a phone. And then in the post Edward Snowden era, when he told you flat out the government has vast databases, and we discuss things like them building data centers everywhere. And then he tells us they listen to you through everything and record every conversation, and people are like, fuck yeah, hey, can I get a quarter ounce, an 8-ball of cocaine and a half a pound of weed for this weekend? I'm gonna party with some strippers and hookers, like, and they'll talk about that shit with each other. You're like, what the fuck is even happening?
Kids today over on Rumble says, house, do sexy mode at 3/4. And play David Rose stripper.
So it's just Quagmire's house.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, look,
I don't watch that show, but
you know the episode I'm talking about, where Quagmire gets locked up by his own shit.
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
And then the one where he discovered internet porn, that one was hilarious.
Yeah, because of the big old Popeye arm.
Yeah, one arm just fucking giant veins, just screaming like fire hoses in one arm.
Is it? That's a take out of the $10 million man.
$6 million man.
Or $6 million man, yeah.
Old ass movie. It's in black and white and everything. It was Hercules and the Three Stooges.
Oh my god!
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh fuck! It was hilarious. It was hilarious. And fucking in the movie, Hercules is on one side of the boat, and he becomes Hercules from rowing a boat, and on the one side, but then only one arm guy. And then he had to switch over to the other side of the boat, and the boat started going in circles, because he's
oh, no. Well, anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming in. We have to go about our daily life. We've got Sarah Tomato tonight. I believe.
Yes, they're talking about his God a Tyrant.
We have Sarah Tomato tonight.
Tonight is gonna be hot.
Wait. I take it back. I think it's a throwdown, isn't it? It's not a debate.
No, I think you're right, because then tomorrow I think is Paul a prophet, and is
Paul was tonight is the Christian God is an immoral tyrant.
Here's a debate.
And then that's at 9 o'clock. That starts at 9 o'clock Eastern time over on the Raging Tomato. And then tomorrow night we have at 7 p.m. Eastern time over on the Raging Tomato. Paul was not an apostle. So that's tomorrow night.
That also will be hot fight.
Yes, and that is not a throwdown. That is an actual debate. And then we will be back on the Benjamin Balderson channel and the Spin City News channel. We'll figure out. I'm getting raided over on Pilled, so we got to wait a little bit now. Thank you for the raid over from America Rising Media over on Pilled. Thank you for the raid from Handy News, I believe it was, over on Rumble. Or not,
Sharon,
over on Rumble.
Or Stevens, whichever way that's pronounced. Trump last night came out and said that there was he had documents specifically declassified to prove it. You can go look at those at whitehouse.gov. If you find them to be proof and credible, then that's on you one way or the other, but that's where the information is at for you to go see what he's saying. I got nothing to say about the guy that came out today and said that magically in states that just yesterday weren't cooperating, and now today they've compiled numbers that are very definitive, but we also don't have a site to go look at those numbers or how they achieved them. And like I said, just yesterday, they stated that these states were not cooperating with that. So how they know that definitively, I don't fucking know. So I don't find it credible at all myself, but that's on me. You decide what you want. Whitehouse.gov.
I'm sorry. It was from the JJR, or the Outlaw Dogs over on Rumble. I apologize. Welcome in, Raiders, from the America Rising Media channel over on Pilled. Much appreciated. Please hit that red pill, share, and subscribe. We're just talking about the Mueller presser just a little bit ago. Braves Piano, thank you for the cookie.
Press release where he said that they found what was the number? 500 million or 200 million?
678,000.
Yeah, in 4 states but it contradicts very much.
I got the number. I got the numbers, Ben. It was 250,000 non-citizens in the states of California, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada. And you know what? I am just
and how many
look at
how many dead people?
Over 400,000 in Georgia, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, Idaho, Alabama, LA, Oklahoma.
Hold on, that's not from these 4 states that he's saying listed. How many dead people are in these 4 registers?
He did not say about that. He was talking about
specifically because when we looked at the actual, and I actually still have it pulled up. When we look at the actual sheet that was in the supposed declassified information that we were given at whitehouse.gov, and I have this pulled up. The file is called the Alien Voter Registration Summary PDF.
Yep.
And when you look at that, the vast majority of these, what they're saying, the SAVE Act found as registrants, the vast majority is in the deceased category. The vast majority in the non-citizen category, the highest number is 2,300, which is Texas. And then, but in the deceased category, the highest number is 111,573. So we're talking 109,000 more in the deceased category than there isn't anybody in the non-citizen category. And that's the highest number. So when they switch and they say, or when they say that, and then they aren't giving us all the statistics all around like that, now I'm extra questionable about that shit too. Because
Ben, do you still have that up on your screen?
Yeah, I fucking do.
Would you mind sharing that one last time? And if you could blow it up, I can read it.
How do I blow it up?
Up on top it says 100%. Just hit the plus sign once or twice.
That is the wrong one. Hold on.
Oh, no problem.
I got a couple things. You have to pull up multiple things to get to the actual file.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, because you got to go into this thing, into this file, and then is this the one?
No, it was just one page, wasn't it, Ben?
It's okay. It's alien voter registration. I got a bunch of things pulled up because I was digging all through that shit.
Yeah. Well, basically, the
there it is. Now,
non-citizens.
This thing.
Yep. If you can now just scroll up where it says Pennsylvania, right there. Now this was from June 22nd, 2026. And
which is less than a month. That's about 3 weeks ago.
Sure. The state election officials in California, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada have been notified of the serious threat to national security, and DHS stands ready to support their efforts to identify and remove ineligible registrants. Wow. The investigation is expanded to include multiple additional states. In addition, DHS will support the Department of Justice review of voter files obtained pursuant to the enforcement authority under the National Voter Registration Act of 1993 and the Help America Vote Act of 2022. Can you scroll down maybe one or two clicks? Good, right there. States that protect federal elections. I put your attention to where it says proactive save user states. In Georgia, what's that say, Ant? 42,776 deceased.
Correct. Yes.
And the non-citizens is
2,549.
Yeah, 2,549. So Georgia, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, North Carolina, Idaho, Alabama, Missouri, Louisiana, and Kansas. Now, Time for Tammy over on Pilled said that Washington State was another one where there were deceased people and non-citizens. And it was
all of them, according to this, have it. But here's what I was disputing when we were just before you asked me to pull this back up, or what I was questioning, not disputing.
Right.
Because they didn't list in those 4 states. They said there's 250,000 non-citizens in those states, in those 4, which is pretty shocking compared to these 10 states where we got 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, maybe 9,000 combined, give or take.
Right.
But they didn't list in those 4 states. So if you did this, somehow figured out exactly how many non-citizens are doing it in these states, and you compiled it, which if you read off to the left, there's 25 different states that they haven't fully processed. So between the time that this, as of June 22nd, which was 3 weeks ago, those 25 states weren't even able to have all the information, but somehow they've compiled it from these 4 states that weren't cooperating. And then the only statistic that they're giving us is this non-citizen statistic. Why aren't you giving us the deceased statistic? If the non-citizen statistic is 250,000 and it tracks with the rest of these, well then shit, I can't imagine what the deceased citizen statistic is, because
according
the highest non-citizen in this is 2,296, but the highest deceased is 111,000.
Sure, but you know, that was I mean, again, I'm not going to be remiss to say this was done in June, but from what he has said
Ben,
I know Balderson, I know Ben, I'm just saying this, if I remember correctly, this was done yesterday and in intuitive to President Trump's speech. So, but what they're saying in all those other states,
how did they get 4 states, each state notorious for not cooperating with the government and saying they will not cooperate with this shit? In those 3 weeks, how did they not only get them to cooperate, but also get all the data in order to make that new number?
I won't even take a stab to try to figure that out, because I'm
what I'm saying here. Do you see the real problem with this?
I understand what you're saying. No Fake Contract says, tell Balderson that 800,000 were illegal in Oregon. And that was done by a civil lawsuit, not the DOJ. And Time for Tammy says, because we are a sanctuary state and we have only mail-in voting, plus our government here hates Trump. Time for Tammy says, I figured it would be high. Now, in the later of it, and I played it back so I can hear it.
For all you folks talking, let me clarify one thing. I don't deny cheating. I believe cheating happens to such an extent that your vote doesn't matter. That's how much cheating I think happens. My question is the process that you're being fed that now makes the cheating one-sided and has only happened since 2020, and that they're feeding you some real, like, you got to make sense to me to fucking feed me a story. And when you tell me on as of June 22nd, it says it right fucking there. This is a declassified document that Trump told us to go look at last night, and it comes right from whitehouse.gov.
Oh, right? That one. That's right. The one that was so redacted. One. It's like, what can I even read in this?
Yeah, but I'm not going to be remiss to say that 28,000 in the other states, and I couldn't write them down fast enough to list all the states, but I know Washington State, Oregon, and other blue or predominantly blue states, in just the numbers that were given today, 28,000 non-citizens.
I realize that you're trying to fixate on the numbers to try and make glamorize what you're saying.
No, I'm just telling the Raiders what we're talking about. So,
but my question is, how did you come up with those fucking numbers? Especially when it says in this declassified document, as of 3 weeks ago, June 22nd, it's only July 17th. It's not even a month past.
Oh, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
June 22nd, a total of 25 different states processed. That these other states are non-cooperating, and it goes on about how those states, the proactive ones are great, but the other ones are horrible.
Correct.
Well, in 3 weeks,
I wouldn't say Texas is looking great with 111,000 deceased voters.
Yeah, that's real bad. 111,000 is wild, right?
And then what was it? 200 or
20, almost 2,300.
Okay, so
Texas accounts for a third of the deceased voters on just that list of 10 states.
So that would then that would add to the 400,000 deceased members in the other states that I wasn't able to write all down. But
down, there is no paperwork showing this. Some guy came out and just said that this morning, and what he says doesn't make sense compared to the things that Trump said and released last night.
Ben.
And we're looking at that thing. And it said as of 3 weeks ago, those guys weren't cooperating and were not releasing in the information. So for me to believe that guy today, I have to believe that in 3 weeks' time, they got them to fucking cooperate. They got all the information, went through all the information, and were able to compile this number.
Sure.
Ben, we get to almost 400,000 with just these 10 states.
Yeah, I was just doing the math.
It's about 345,000 or so. So we're only looking for another 55,000 to make up that 400,000 number you're complaining about. That's not unreasonable. This is 10 states. If we extrapolate out to the other 50, I don't think it's going to be much of a stretch to say it's going to break 400,000.
I'm not even fucking.
But you're right. I would like to know where, because they says identify over 400,000 deceased registrants, but with the list they give, we don't come up with 400,000. That is a legitimate gripe. I would like to know where the missing 55,000.
Oh, I would love to know where they are, but
I would like to know how he said specifically that 250,000 illegal aliens were registered to vote in these 4 states, and the 4 states that he listed are not listed in this as being cooperative states to give that information.
But that's because this list is proactive save user states, so they wouldn't be in that list if they're not cooperating. By definition, they wouldn't be in this list.
You know, the one state that they didn't list was Minnesota.
I agree. So because they're not cooperating, their information has not been put in the database.
Correct.
It hasn't been released. We might have their information. They just aren't releasing it.
It says right here that only 25 states have given them the information, and they have partially compiled that information. That these other states, so we got 50 states. And fucking if 35 have given them the information, at least to some degree, that means that 15 states have not given them any information to any degree, which one would assume is California and these other very liberal states that have been listed.
So that's why we're seeing a discrepancy. These are the 10 states that have fully processed their voter lists. Okay.
Sure.
They're talking, there are more numbers out there. They just haven't completed the process.
My question is where did the 250,000 illegal aliens in the 4 states that are not cooperating?
Oh, right.
How in that 3 weeks did you
that sounds absurd.
Get them to cooperate, go through all the information, and then give us a number on these 4 states that you couldn't even list, the ones that cooperated in here.
I'd like to know where that number comes from too. It's a very big number, especially for such a small number of states. I too would like to know where they're deriving this number. It's like when I see
the one thing that I kind of figured here was like Minnesota and all that. They're not going to cooperate. I mean, with the administration doing this because they need the extra votes, right? And Minnesota is a sanctuary state and a very democratic state. So, it goes back to the whole thing of TDS. And James says, because Ben, it's because it's an ongoing investigation.
Yes, though, Spin. You are just not following the fucking line of logic. You're just not following it. It doesn't even matter if I agree 100%. Minnesota is going to hide it every bit that they can. I agree. California is going to hide it every bit that they can.
Absolutely.
I agree with all those statements. What I don't agree with is as of June 22nd, those places had given this SAVE Act no information whatsoever, 15 states. And now in the last 3 weeks, they've not only taken and gotten them to cooperate, but they've somehow compiled the data. And so that shit that Trump said last night wasn't truly accurate. What this guy says now this morning, they have that data. Why can't I look the fuck at it?
I'm not even going to try to answer that question because I couldn't possibly know. We have 33 red pills over there. We have 73 watching. Please hit that red pill. Share the broadcast out. Thank you for everybody for coming in over on Rumble and Pilled and the Raiders. Please hit that thumbs up and like button and repost. But no, Ben, I agree. Oh, and also please hit the thumbs up over on
like literally what's
YouTube.
Happening here, Spin, is last night Trump came out and said we're doing a release of classified documents so you can see the voter fraud. And then another dude came out this morning and said it's much worse. We have this information, but data, trust me, bro.
I'm not saying that that's not possible. I'm just saying it goes back to here's the that thing, is why we need voter ID.
He's doing a press conference, right? You can't exactly sit there with like a fucking PowerPoint while you're talking to the press and get them to follow along with some very in-depth, complex analysis of voter records and everything, and keep anybody awake in the process.
But why can't just last night Trump released this classified information, but now somehow between last night and this morning, more information and information regarding states that were non-cooperative has somehow come out, and they have figures to release, and he released those figures. Why would that not be included? Why didn't he say,
I don't know.
Wait, out.gov, you can see the rest of this information, because that's not in the White House.gov.
I don't know. And if it's not like matter of national security or protecting privacy, I don't understand why they don't just release the raw data. Like the private sector could do all of this analysis faster and cheaper than the government can. Now, it may become biased, but it's already probably biased towards favoring Trump's administration anyway, so who fucking cares?
I might be fixating on the numbers a little bit, but as the states comply, I would be very safe to even say that these numbers are going to go up significantly.
Not these numbers, because these are finished.
The reason that I say that you're fixating on the numbers is because you're looking at the shocking numbers, but those numbers are unproven. These numbers are supposedly proven through this save database.
Sure.
They went through the voter records and they identified this number of people were actually deceased or non-citizens. So, this is
thoroughly vetted. This is supposedly classified information that was thoroughly vetted that they've now released to us. And so, but now suddenly we have this extra piece of information where 4 states have 250,000 non-citizens, which, as we can see on this list, we don't even have 10,000 non-citizens.
But this is 10 states.
Yeah.
This is only 10 states. And these are all states that are, well, maybe not Georgia, but most of these states are pretty anti-illegal immigrant, right?
Right.
So they're going to push back the most on non-citizen registrations compared to other states.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all.
I agree that these 4 states probably have a higher number of.
Yes. I don't know if it's going to be 250,000. I can't say it's not, but that does sound remarkably high.
Yeah. And then you give us no paperwork to match it. In fact,
we haven't gotten it yet. It's a fair request. I would like to see it as well.
Yeah, I obviously would like to see the actual raw data to see and to correlate it. But when and if, right, everybody complies with this with this save act and puts all the numbers in, I would not be surprised to see the numbers in the millions. Now, let's correlate this and let me land the plane here for a second.
It's obviously going to reach millions if there's 111,000 deceased registered voters just in Texas.
Oh, well, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But that's
now, but let's correlate this. Let's correlate this.
That's not illegal, but but what one they would say, one of the tropes that they put out is the illegals use these deceased voters registration to go in and vote as those people.
What I want to know,
add into that.
What I would like to know from that list of deceased voters is how many of those deceased voters voted before dying and how many died after voting. Because you could become recorded as a deceased voter, but you were alive when you made your vote. You just died after the election.
This isn't even that crazy of an idea because it says right in your thing that if you die, your relatives are supposed to call in and take you off the voter roll. How many people do that? Like,
probably none.
I don't care I don't even know if my parents vote.
Well, wait a minute. Let's correlate this list. Ben, you still have it up there. Let's correlate this list right here with the deceased voters that it was proven that there were still people collecting Social Security checks or of deceased family members that were they were over 100 years old and they were deceased. So that number, I'm just doing a cursory search to see actually what the number was, but that would also correlate with this list as well. Because if you're deceased and you're getting a vote, somebody's doing it, which at that point points to the voter fraud. You can take it down if you want, Ben. So, I mean, there's always cheating. There's always something.
The redacted one, the horribly redacted one was the China one that Trump said was like the smoking gun. And we went through that whole thing, and it was like, if that's a smoking gun, I don't know.
It probably is if you can read the whole thing.
Right.
I mean, look, we all know that there is fraud going on in all forms of government. We all know that, everybody wants the fraud to stop. I mean, look at all the money going to the Leering centers in Minnesota that was stopped and uncovered by
Well, it's predictable. Like, I don't think it's controversial to say that the more money and power you input into a system, the more it's going to become corrupt, because people are going to want to try to extract from that system while inputting as little as possible into it.
Sure. I mean, we all want all the fraud to stop, right? Because
you're not going to stop it. I want it limited, and I want it restrained, and I want it, I want the laws regarding it enforced. I don't believe we can fully stop it, right? You can't fully stop people from being criminals. They're going to break the law because they think they can get away with it or whatever reason, but they're going to risk it. Fine, they can let them take the risk, but punish them when they get caught.
Well, speaking of Leering centers, they're actually starting to charge people for that obvious scam. They charged one person at least for the Leering centers, so hopefully they can charge more people who's ever involved.
Well, I mean, when you're out buying Bentleys and Maseratis and what there was another one, people BMWs and all this other stuff, and you can't register a kid, or you go there and there's no kids there. Transport vehicles that haven't been moved in 6 months and all this other stuff. Of course, there's something going on. Nick Shirley uncovered it all and brought it to light, and that's how it was stopped. I mean, and the Nick Shirley Act out in California, you know, that they're trying to pass because they don't want the fraud to be exposed, because obviously that's hurting the states in a lot of ways, and that's proving that the states are not doing what they're doing, or doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it goes back, it all goes back to these businesses are capitalizing on the federal government, and they shouldn't be.
Damn it, Ben, what do we talk about putting naked pussies up on the screen?
But yeah, I mean, it all just goes back. Yeah, the naked pussies. Ben, I'm going to send you some material.
This one's got milk bags.
Oh yeah. Oh, is that the one that just had the kittens?
No, she had kittens. Actually, she was one of the first ones that had kittens. That's why her milk bags are starting to de-swell, because she gets mad at them. But you got it.
Just like my cat Flynn.
I want to ask you guys a question real quick, since you brought up the pussy on the screen. Do y'all know what a Mr. Bigglesworth is?
Yes, I do.
How about you, Dad?
That's funny. Did you just build that avatar, Ant? I don't think I've ever seen that one.
I've put it up a few times.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen Mr. Bigglesworth? I do not know what a Mr. Bigglesworth is.
It's from Red Dwarf.
It's a shaved pussy. It's from Austin Powers. Dr. Evers shaved his cat, and its name is Mr. Bigglesworth. So that's what a shaved pussy is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I wanted to say thank you for coming in, everybody. Thank you, Kraut, for coming up. I know Cameron was up here a little bit ago. Thank you, everybody, for coming over and sticking around with us. Over on Rumble, Cass Rumble, thank you very much. JJRL for the raid over there. We're going to end the stream now. We have to get some work done. Thank you, everybody, for obviously coming in, and we will see you later on the Raging Tomato channel.
Probably. It should be wild.
Yeah, 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight, 6 o'clock Pacific time. Thank you, friends. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Follow us. Follow me over on Rumble and all major social media at Spin City News. Over on Pilled, if you haven't followed us, thank you for coming in and sticking around. And Mr. Balderson, Mr. Ant, Mr. Kraut, we will see you later. Thank you everybody for coming in, and have a good afternoon. We'll see you tonight.
Spin City. Spin City on the screen, got the room on 10. Breaking news, panel smoke, then he does it again. The bass in the morning, debauchery at night. He steps in loud and he don't back right. Clip it, post it, watch the chat explode. One more take, then he takes the road. He talks that talk with a grin and a stare. The other side's talking, he already there. Hold up, here he comes. Hands in the air, let the verdict come. No more hush, no more shade. Spin City live and the whole place sways. Spin City, Spin City. He don't play it safe. Spin City, bringing fire to the face. MAGA on the mic, and he says what he means. Spin City, shaking up the scene. Panels in a circle, everybody wants a turn. He leans in hard, let the hot takes burn. Protest on the ticker, riot in the thread. He talks over the chaos with a raised up head. Yell a little louder, make the point land clean. Cut through the noise like a headline machine. If they come for the room, he comes right back. One more clash and the whole beat snaps. Hold up, here he comes. Hands in the air, let the verdict come. No more hush, no more shade. Spin City live and the whole place sways. Spin City, Spin City. He don't play it safe. Spin City, bringing fire to the face. MAGA on the mic, and he says what he means. Spin City, shaking up the scene. When the mics get hot and the